Hello, welcome back to Learn Oikonomia. In this video, we'll be looking into certain questions with respect to UGC NET exam. The first question is considered the following statements. Actually, all these are certain actions by the government in cutting tax rates, increasing government spending, and abolishing subsidies. You have to understand which of the following or which among the following would be taken by the government as a part of its fiscal stimulus package, and just assume that the prevailing scenario is economic recession. In this scenario, the right answer is option A, 1 and 2. That is, the government would be cutting the taxes as well as the government would be increasing its spending. The government does all these kinds of works especially to increase the flow of funds to the public, to the hands of public, so that there will be money with them. Second question, inflation is caused by dash. The increase in supply of goods, increase in cash with government, decrease in money supply and increasing money supply. The right answer is increase in money supply. When there is inflation, we know that there would be more money in the hands of the people, and with that more money they could purchase only little amount of goods in the market. That means that your purchasing power of your money would come down. That is what happens in a scenario of inflation. Now, third question, the process of curbing inflation by reducing money supply is known as what? The right answer is disinflation, which is a process of curbing the inflation by reducing money supply. Actually, it is considered to be a decrease in the rate of inflation or slowdown in the rate of sustained increase in the price level. Coming to cause of inflation, this is something which is caused by the rise in the prices of the raw materials, because it is with these raw materials the producer would produce the finished product, and whenever there is an increase in the price of raw materials, this increased price would be reflected in the increased price of the finished product. Now, coming to demand pull inflation, this is caused when the aggregate demand in the economy exceeds the aggregate supply. That means that people have more money with them. With their more money, what happens is that they will be demanding more and more, but there is no enough supply in the market to satisfy this increased demand. So as a result, the price will automatically increase in the market, and if it sustains for some time, we can see it as inflation. Now, the term stagflation refers to a situation of what? Whether it is growth has no relation with the change in price, or rate of growth and price is both decreasing, or rate of growth is faster than rate of price, or rate of growth is lower than rate of price increase. The right answer is option D, rate of growth is lower than rate of price increase. So stagflation is actually a situation of a combination of high levels of inflation and high levels of unemployment. So in this scenario, the rate of growth is lower than rate of price increase. During the time of inflation, rate would increase or decrease or remain constant or fluctuate. Actually, it would increase, because during the times of inflation, interest rates should increase. So the investor would invest more because he or she is out of the expectation of higher interest rate earning, and thus money supply would reduce, and which would reduce inflation in the economy. Similarly, higher interest rate means that credit becomes so costly. As a result, supply of money would reduce, which would help in curbing inflation. Now, inflation in India is measured by which of the following indices? We have here it is given several indices like CPI, WPI, cost of living index, etc. The right answer is wholesale price index, or WPI. It is based on the wholesale price of a few relevant commodities available. And in the case of cost of living index, it is considered to be a theoretical index which measures the latent cost of living over time or regions. Now, coming to consumer price index, which examines the weighted average of the price of a basket of goods and services such as transportation, goods, medical care, etc. The basis of determining dearness allowance to government employees in India is what? Whether it is national income or consumer price index or standard of living or per capita income. Actually, it is consumer price index. As we have seen, consumer price index would take into consideration the weighted average with respect to certain bundle of goods. So de earners allowance, actually you have to understand its meaning. It's an allowance paid to employers to compensate them for the erosion of their real income or wage or whatever it may be due to inflation. Whenever there is an increase in the prices or general price level, that would reduce the real income, or that would reduce the wage, real wage. So the increase in the cost of living and the consequent erosion of income is measured in terms of consumer price index. Next question, consider the following statement with regard to money market. It is a market for short-term funds with maturity ranging from overnight to 1 year. It acts as an instrument of liquidity adjustment for the central bank. Both are correct. Because we have to understand that the financial market could be divided into money market and share market. The money market is the one which deals with the short-term funds, and the share market is the one which deals with long-term funds. And participants borrow and lend for short periods in the money market. Money market is actually a platform where both the borrowers and lenders could meet together. And money market trades in short-term financial instrument, which is known as paper. Now, coming to the next question, which of the following could be the outcome of very high inflation? Is it reduction in economic growth, or increase in savings, or reduction in export? Actually, the right answer is option D. That is sentences 1 and 3. Reduction in economic growth and reduction in exports. That means that when there is a high inflation, the question, the keywords are very high inflation. No, it is not asking simple inflation. It is asking very high inflation. So the right answer is reduction in economic growth as well as reduction in exports. Next, consider the following statement with regard to headline inflation. Here, two sentences are to provide a accurate picture of inflation in the country, and it is affected by short-term transitory effect or prices. The right answer is option B, that is only sentence B is right. We have to understand what headline inflation is first. It is actually WPI inflation, which takes into consideration the total inflation within an economy, and it is affected by areas of the market which may experience sudden inflationary spikes. As a result, headline inflation, it might not present an accurate picture of the current state of economy, because it doesn't take into consideration service sector in the economy. Now, which of the following states will result in containing inflation? Containing inflation means reducing inflation. Options: increasing cash reserve ratio, then decreasing statutory liquidity ratio, permitting central or state agency to import duty-free pulses and sugar. The right answer is option A, increasing cash reserve ratio. When the central bank increases its cash reserve ratio, what happens is that the commercial bank will be having less fund in their hands to lend to the public. So this could be used as a method to curb inflation. Now, in India, inflation is measured by wholesale price index. This is something which we have already covered. Then, when economic development takes place, what happens is that specialization is something which would increase. GDP doesn't take into consideration several other aspects in the economy, like environment, quality and all, which is actually something to deal with externalities. But just remember that when there is economic development, it is the specialization that increases. Now, consider the following factors: capital investment, business turnover, labor force and power consumption. Which of these would determine the nature and size of the industry? The right answer is 1, 3 and 4. Actually, it is not the labor force that would determine for the size of the business. It is now coming to gilt-edged market. It means market for government securities. So thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to this channel for more videos.